What will happen the day of your CBP One appointment? What will happen once you are in the U.S.? What will happen the day of your CBP One appointment? The day you are scheduled for your CBP One appointment, you will need to present yourself at the correct port of entry at the specified date and time. Make sure you bring all of your belongings that you would like to take with you to the U.S. You will not be able to cross back into Mexico once you enter the U.S. What will happen the day you are scheduled to cross? If you have prescribed medications you need to bring, make sure to bring them and show them to the immigration officers, along with the prescription for the medication that shows it was prescribed to you. It is important to eat something before heading to your appointment because it is going to be a very long day. Once you enter for your appointment, you will be processed by immigration officers. While you are in the custody of the immigration officers, they will hold your belongings, including your cell phones. Most people are processed and released into the U.S. within the same day. However, be prepared that you could be held at the border by immigration officers for a few days. If this happens, it will basically feel like being in a jail. Be aware that immigration officers will have access to all of your belongings and will likely look through them, including your phones. Immigration officers may ask you to unlock your phone so that they can review them. Everything should be returned to you when you are released. It is also possible that the immigration agents will take your passports and keep them until the end of your asylum case. You should take photos and make copies of your passport prior to your appointment. Sometimes, CBP officers have been known to destroy ID documents and case evidence. We recommend that you have photocopies and pictures of all important documents. This includes passports, ID documents, as well as evidence you may use during your asylum cases, such as photos of injuries, police reports, etc. You should send these pictures to yourself via Facebook Messenger or email so that you can access a digital copy in case anything happens to the original, and if possible, also send photos of your documents to a family member or a person you trust. It is possible that the day you cross, you will be interviewed about the reasons you decided to migrate to the United States. It is important not to lie and to be consistent in what you say. If you fear returning to your country of origin, it is important that you mention that in your interview. If you say one thing during your interview and another thing in court in the future, it can be a problem and affect your asylum case. Important: risk of detention. It is possible that you will be detained. The majority of people that cross with an appointment are not detained, but if you have previous deportations or a criminal record in any country, you have a higher risk of being detained. People who do not have a criminal record can also be detained. This means that the officers can send you to a detention center, which is like a prison in the United States. If the officers ask you about your criminal record, it is important to be honest. If they send you to detention, it can be for a short amount of time, but it can also be for the entirety of your case. Information on parole and asylum. Entering with a CBP One appointment does not mean you have been granted asylum. People who enter the United States with appointments are entering through a process called parole. Parole is not the same as asylum. Entering with parole means that you have temporary permission to enter and stay in the United States, usually for 1 year. After you enter the U.S., you will be able to start your asylum case. What is asylum? To be granted asylum, you must go through a legal process and prove that you are eligible for asylum. A person who is present in the United States can solicit asylum if they cannot return to their country of origin because they have suffered persecution in the past, or if they have a fear of being persecuted for their 1. Race, 2. Religion, 3. Nationality, 4. Political opinion, or 5. Belonging to a particular social group. You must submit your application for asylum within 1 year from when you enter the United States. It does not matter if your court date is scheduled for after 1 year. What is important is that you submit your application within a year of the date you entered the country. If you do not submit your application for asylum within a year, you might be ineligible to ask for asylum. This is why it is important to submit your application within a year. When you enter the U.S., it is very important to start looking immediately for an attorney to help you with your case. The asylum process can take a very long time, and all of your forms and evidence must be submitted in English. You should look for a trustworthy attorney to help you with your case. What will happen if you win your asylum case? If you win your asylum case, you will have the right to live and work legally in the United States and possibly bring some of your family members. Eventually, you will be able to become a permanent resident and eventually a U.S. citizen. What will happen if you lose your asylum case? If you lose your asylum case, the judge will issue an order for you to be deported to your home country. You may be sent to immigration detention before you are deported. However, it is important to know that if you lose your case, you have the right to appeal. An appeal is a process in which your case will be reviewed by a different court to see if the judge made the wrong decision in your case. Other important information for when you are in the U.S. After entering the United States, you will have to go to court. If you do not present yourself in court on the date that you have been given, you can be deported. It is very important to show up to court. The day that you cross, you will receive a packet from immigration officials. This packet will likely include 1. Notice to appear, (NTA). This document says the date, time, and place of your court date. It is important to know that this time can be incorrect or it can change. You must verify the correct date and court location on a website, https://acis.eoir.justice.gov, or by calling the phone number 800-898-7180. It can take time, weeks or months, from the day you enter until the border officials send your case information to the court, so you must keep checking the website every week to know when they publish your court date. What should I do if my address changes? The court will send information about your court date to the address that you provided in your CBP One application. You can move or change your address, but it is necessary to notify the immigration court and ICE about your new residence. You can make this change online or send a form through the mail to the court and the immigration prosecutor. If you move very far away, such as to a new state, you should ask the court to transfer your case to a court closer to your new address. This is called a change of venue. If you do not complete a change of venue, you will need to travel to the place where your case is filed to attend your court dates. You should not miss your court date. You should go to the first court date even if you do not have an attorney yet. If you miss a court date, the judge can end your case and order you to be deported. Your kids have the right to attend school in the United States. School in the United States is free and obligatory for children. In solidarity, al otro lado.